As far as drinks go, anyhow, right?
No, listen. Yeah.
If I could get, we could get everybody's attention here, we'll get going. And that's okay. That's all right. We'll get rolling here. I would like to promise you guys that we're going to have a short presentation today, but we all know that Coach Larsen will probably stand up here for at least 45 minutes and talk about something that pertains to women's basketball. So, or not, as Coach Glenn just said, yeah. Anyway, what do we got going on this week? Today we had an exceptional speaker show up. If you ever get an opportunity to hear Dick Beardsley speak, I highly suggest it. I was there for an hour and about 10 minutes, and I broke down and cried twice during that deal. Talk about a man who's gone through some adversity in his life. I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy. So this weekend we got double headers at home. On Friday night, Santa Claus is coming. So grandkids, kids, or you yourself, you want to get a picture of Santa Claus and tell Santa what you want for Christmas. I'm sure he might help you out. I think everybody in here probably would get a lump of coal in their stocking. With that, and that's a 5:30, 7:30 start on Friday, and Saturday we have Westminster, which is 3:30 and 5:30 start. So a little bit earlier, and that's strictly designed so that those teams can get out of here and get back to their hometowns. But I want to thank Pizza Ranch for being our sponsor today. I just absolutely love coming over here, and you can't beat this deal, $5. I know when the three of us come here, it's like $35, so it's a great deal. And I want to thank everybody for coming today and everything that you do for Hardrocker Athletics. With that, we will bring Coach Larsen up here, and I wish I had a timer. One of these days, I'm going to bring a timer and set it up, and you'll probably still talk.
I will. Hey, thanks everybody for coming out. I am not eating Pizza Ranch today. Every time I come here, well, when we're in season, why are you not eating? We had early morning practice, 6 a.m. My stomach starts hurting about 10. I go home and eat lunch about 10:30, so I can get till at least 4 o'clock in the office. So that's why I do not eat, but I do love the chicken here as much as Brad Bloom, that's for sure. Coach Schaefer is here. I need to point out, this is a great week for me to talk about Coach Schaefer. He's going to absolutely hate me for this, but there is no better man for me to be associated with at School of Mines as a young coach. I'll talk about it like this. When we were struggling as a team, I might have been a little down and out. I kind of, let's talk like, ever heard of Towel of Pooh, Winnie the Pooh? Ever heard of that? I'm usually, as you can tell, more of a Tiggerish, bouncing off the wall, flying all over the place, doing this, doing that, can't keep a thought straight for a minute, that type of deal. We may be playing poorly, or, we slight losing streak, something like that. I'd be down and out, and I'd be kind of Eeyore-ish, down in the dumps. Here would come Coach Schaefer, rolling into my office, the wise old owl, sit me down, set me straight, get me out of the dump, get me back to being Tigger. Coach Schaefer, I miss you, thank you. I'm Tigger again, right away. Went home, watched the film, went to bed, woke up feeling great after our game. We did not play very good basketball Saturday. All right, we had the potential to play a lot better. Black Hill State is a really good team. All credit to them. We did some really good things in that first half. First of all, we really defended our tails off. We took them out of everything that they wanted to do offensively. We guarded their best players really, really well. We followed a scouting report pretty darn well, and it showed on the halftime scoreboard. We held them pretty low, and their percentages were really really low. The problem with us was we couldn't just throw in the ocean. We could not make a basket, and it kind of started from the get-go. Missed a few layups, a few easy shots. We had some really good transition 3 looks that we normally make. It's kind of funny watching the film. We shoot a transition 3, and I'd see Coach Norrie stand up and kind of start pulling his hair out, you know, and because he expected them to go in, and they weren't guarding us out there. We were playing a little bit faster and more organized than they were in their conversion defense. We just didn't make any good shots. But at the same time, offensively, we were scoring and attacking the way that we wanted to, even though the ball wasn't going through the basket. So there's a lot to be excited about in that first half, and I felt really, really good going into halftime, down 2 points, saying, okay, but the ball's going to go through the hoop sooner or later. We're too good of a shooting team. Because the way we were playing, again, finding our shots, working the actions how we wanted to, attacking them offensively the way we talked about all week. So a lot to be happy about. Third quarter, still couldn't quite score it. All credit goes to Coach Norrie and Black Hills State. And if you read in the paper, Coach Norrie basically said this verbatim, is they kind of scrapped their offense at halftime. And what they did is they just kind of played pick and roll basketball, spread the court a little bit, and that caught us up by surprise. You know, it really did. And that's one thing we got to get better at defensively. All right, if you remember back to that Billings game, you know, we played a lot of zone. It was good for us, but I admittedly told you I got stubborn in that fourth quarter where I was going to make our kids play man-to-man. They put up 30 points. We got to get better defensively, guarding the basketball, defending in space. Just simple, fundamental shell drill defense is where we got to get better at. And that's where Black Hills attacked us, and we lost their best player, Morgan Ham, who's a really good player. We overhelped at times. We gave her really good looks. She made some really tough shots, and that got them going. It got them going. So we just got to defend better fundamentally, and you know that's stuff that we work on. We work on it every single day, but we kind of get caught off surprise a little bit. All right, they took us by surprise. As focused as we were in our defensive game plan, you got to be able to do both, and we were able to do that the first half, where we took them out of how they wanted to score, and then yet guard the basketball. The second half, we weren't able to do that. So they obviously got hot, put a number of points on the board. At the same time, well, we just couldn't keep scoring. We couldn't score. The ball wasn't going through the basket. Even the third quarter, I thought we had pretty good shots, pretty good looks at the basket, didn't go in. And really what that happened, and this is something that we got to get better at, we got to be a more determined team where we kind of let our lack of offense and the ball not going through the basket lead to the defensive end a little bit. All right, we saw the ball, again, boom, go off the rim, they get a defensive rebound. We didn't have the same focus that we needed to for 40 minutes defensively. So when the ball's not going through the basket, we got to continue to defend at a very high level. And so that was kind of the name of the game right there, and the outcome, obviously, where we got a little disappointed, got a little distraught that the ball wasn't going through, and that led to just poor defensive execution. That will get fixed. Very pleased with the way we practiced this morning. That was specifically what we worked on, is defending in space, fundamental defense, you know, moving with the basketball, all that stuff, and we've probably defended as high as the level as we have for quite a while now, and that makes me feel really, really good. Because we're going to need that this weekend, that's for sure. Friday night, we have a very talented team coming into the King Center on Bar Filman floor. You look at them, you look at their stats, they got 5 kids averaging double figures. They spread you out, and they play a ton of one-on-one basketball, where you guys familiar with like hot sauce and one mixtapes? You ever seen that before? You're going to see a lot of that. A lot of kids with shake and bake, step back threes. The scary thing about it is they make a lot of them. So we're really going to have to guard the basketball. Again, defend in space, all the stuff that we got to get better at. Yeah, so they put a lot of points on the board, and they also press defensively too. Every big basket, you're going to see them get up and press us 94 feet. Knock on wood. Right now, I feel really good that we'll be able to handle that. If we are able to handle their full court pressure, the way we've been practicing the last couple of days, you know, we're addressing some things, and I'm sure Coach Glenn will, you know, Coach Glenn, in my daily chats, we kind of talk about the same thing, just all the opportunities that we're missing offensively. Those are getting better as well. That makes me very, very excited about this game Friday and Saturday as well. Saturday, I haven't had a chance to watch a whole lot about Westminster yet, kind of focusing more so on Dixie State. I'll get more into them this afternoon and tomorrow. But again, very similar team to Dixie State. Play extremely fast. One pass shot, two pass shot, and back on defense. So we're going to have to be very, very mindful, again, just guarding the basketball, conversion defense, finishing every play with a rebound to get going the other direction. But here's the bright side. We lost to a very good team last week. We did. Okay, Black Hills State, they're number 13 in the nation for a reason. All right, for about, I will say, 26, 27 minutes, I felt we went toe-to-toe with them really, really well. Okay, you know, again, being the optimist here, you look at the way we played for 27 minutes. This is something I've talked about for quite a while now. Hey, can we put 40 minutes together? Okay, can we string more better possessions together offensively, defensively? Can we be more consistent overall? That's something that I've talked about early on in the year that we have to get better at to improve as a program, improve as a team. So yes, we are going to need 40 minutes of really good basketball both nights. And again, being the optimist here that I am, I fully expect to get 2 wins. We're 2-1 in the league. You waving at me? Oh, I thought you were telling me shut it off. You scared me there. I thought I was doing really good. Now I lost track. Where was I? Hey, we get 2 wins.
Joel was judging.
We get 2 wins. We're 2-1. All right, feeling really good about ourselves. And playing good basketball. And so that's the goal. It starts Friday night against the talented Dixie State team that I feel good about. I really like our matchups offensively, defensively, and I like our matchups Saturday as well, offensively and defensively. You'll see a fantastic team Friday night, and you'll see a fantastic team Saturday as well. Westminster has the preseason player of the year, Denise Gonzalez. She kind of reminds me of Steve Nash. If you guys remember Steve Nash, and she is really, really nifty with the ball. It has all the shots. She is fun to watch. We are going to have 5 kids defending that kid for 40 minutes. And they got very good players after that, but this kid is exceptionally, exceptionally talented. So we're looking forward to the challenge. Our kids were, really disappointed the way we played Saturday against Black Hills State. And you kind of saw it during the game a little bit. Some people had asked me, geez, you guys looked a little deflated and defeated during the game. Maybe a little bit. I'm going to stick up for our kids, and what it more was is they were just really disappointed in the outcome. Okay, they were extremely disappointed. Our kids, I very, very few times have I seen them so focused in before a game. All right, shoot around the locker room before a game. They were absolutely zeroed in, ready to compete and get after it. And it was just a huge letdown for them where they were really disappointed. And you could tell. But they've bounced back very nicely the last 2 days. We've had 2 really spirited practices. We put it behind us, and we're looking forward to Friday and Saturday. How'd I do, Joel?
Good.
Did I cover it?
Are you done?
I got questions.
Oh, you got questions? Yeah, okay.
Questions, anyone, please. Just so I can talk to anger Joel more.
I'll go this way. I got 2 questions.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the RMAC. I noticed that according to a preseason poll, there are about 3 teams of the lower that beat the upper, and one with a point that was just really out of spot there.
Well,
can you comment a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I kind of did want to talk about, but I was going to skip over because I thought I was getting a little lengthy. But now that you asked, I'm going to roll.
You're still under 12.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with it. After leaving the men's game Saturday, again, kind of started to be a little Eeyore-ish. Hopped in my truck, Pearl Jam was on, Yellow Lead Better, felt really good, singing along to that. Went home. My beautiful and talented wife had a wonderful meal for me. Talked a little basketball. We talked more about my dog Dora eating a wooden spoon, but that's a different story. But then I looked at the scores. Hopped online, looked at the scores, and I saw there were a lot of upsets. And that's one thing I've talked about the league a little bit this year. There's a lot of unknowns out there. Okay, Colorado Christian beat Regis pretty darn good. All right. Colorado Springs, who hadn't won a game, beat Colorado Mines. Okay. Metro, who's generally pretty good, went down to Shatter and won by 3 in overtime. You know, so again, I'll say we played 27 really good minutes against the team to win the league, picked to win the league. All right, we come out and compete and redeem ourselves a little bit this weekend. We're feeling really, really good about ourselves. So yeah, it's early. Boy, there is so much basketball left to be played. But the thing about that, we're we keep preaching to our kids. We got to take advantage of it. We have to focus on continuing to get better every day in practice. Okay, second question.
Final exams this week, how is that impacting your players for practice and mental preparation?
Yeah, you know, we're mindful of it. You know, tomorrow with the day off, you know, today's the last day of classes. We're going to go fairly hard for about an hour, and then really jump into Dixie State, because then on Thursday we're going 45 minutes is it. Another kind of walkthrough about Dixie State. You know, so this time of year we really back off as far as physically getting up and down and practicing hard against each other. But you know, not to poo-poo your question, Larry, does it affect kids? Yeah, absolutely, because they're studying hard, they're mentally taxed, stuff like that. But we're over that. You know, we talked about this morning after practice. You know, that is no longer excuse for us, you know, whatsoever. We are over that. We've conquered that beast a couple of years ago, and you know, we want to thrive at this time. You know, our focus is that much more locked in on what we have to do. We think academics first, we think health second, and we think basketball third. So yeah, it does affect it a little bit, but if we take care of ourselves, which our kids will do, we'll be just fine. Yes?
Is Marissa back 100%?
She is. Yeah, she is. Missy didn't play well Saturday. She's the first to tell you that. She is 100%. We got to figure out how to use Missy better. We do. You know, we're probably not putting her in the best spots right now offensively. You know, this weekend's a really good example where not a lot of good matchups for Missy. You know, defensively, smaller teams, you know, a little quicker, but she'll be fine. You know. Marissa Herkett, I've said it hundreds of times now, where we're a better basketball team when she is healthy, and she is healthy. We just got to use her better. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else for me? I covered it. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Coach. What do we got there on the timer?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. That could be a new record.
That's a goal.
Short amount of time for Coach Larsen. I'm pretty pumped about that. I will agree with you on 2 things, Coach. One, I like the Pizza Ranch chicken, but I'm sure I don't like it as much as Brad looking at his plate back there. Empty chicken box. So, with our next speaker, we'll have Coach Glenn step up here and talk about men's basketball.
Thanks for coming out again today. If you got to see our game, obviously a heartbreaking loss for our guys. You know, as I told them right afterwards in the locker room, I was really proud of them. They played a heck of a game. Well, we went out, and I wasn't quite sure if we could or not slow down their number 1 scorer, Frazier Malcolm, because when he really wants to go, he's hard to slow down. And not only did we slow him down, we also slowed down their number 2. I mean, up until the last 3 that they hit in regulation, their top 2 double-figure scorers hadn't even reached double figures together. So we were really proud of that effort by our guys. And obviously still, our woes are still putting the ball in the hole right now. And, you know, as I talked to Coach Larsen said, we like to have our early morning coffee discussions and things. And you know, you talk to some people about yourself and ask them to take a look at you and things, and just for some reaffirmation that you're doing things right. And you know, as we go back and watch the tape, and we like to stat our shots, whether they're contested, uncontested, and where we're taking them at on the floor. And obviously, in the lane, we were doing tremendous. And Black Hills realized that, and they really started trying to pack it in on us. We ended up getting some great looks in the second half. But the problem was we were 4 for 22 from the perimeter. And from guys that obviously are really good shooters. You've seen them shoot before. So what that is we haven't quite put our finger on it yet. It's obviously got to be a mental thing a little bit. It's probably a confidence issue a little bit. So, you know, we're really patting them on the bottoms, telling them how good they are. how much we believe in them right now, and hopefully that ball will start going in the hole a little bit easier. Through this whole thing, as I even said last week, and I'm probably getting a little redundant on it, it is just amazing to me. I've had many teams, I should say many, but I've had a few teams that have gone through stretches like this. And generally what happens is on your defensive end, as Coach talks about, it's hard to keep them going defensively because they get deflated. You know, they see, oh, there's another miss, and there's another miss, and then that whole part carries on to the defensive end. Our guys haven't let that happen. Last week, like I said, we dropped to number 2 in points allowed in the league. We're back to number 1 in that department. And field goal percentage allowed, we're number 6, just barely out of the top 5 by about just hundredths of a percentage point. So we're doing some really good things on the defensive side. Our rebounding, which we stress every single doggone day, is probably about the point, honestly, that I'm more concerned about than our shooting, because I know the shooting is going to come around. It's just one of those things, it's a confidence issue, and we'll get better at it. But our rebounding is something that we got to continue to get better at, and we did get out rebounded the other night, especially on the offensive boards. When you miss as many shots as we did, and how many, I mean, they missed a lot too, so I kind of predicted it was a rock fight out there, and we just got to rebound better. And I think we've made some adjustments in our starting lineup to be a better rebounding team. Little youth in that, and I think that probably played a part in it. And we got to get those guys just to grow up a little bit quicker and realize that we got to rebound better and get that margin. Right now, I think we're at a -6, and we got to be at least breaking even right now, and that's got to be our goal to get that break-even point with that. So overall, I was really happy with our guys' effort, though. You know, you go back and watch the film, and you know, in the heat of the moment, you're upset. You know, it's a hard thing to go, and then I watch the tape, and I'm just even more proud of them because I really thought we played a heck of a basketball game against a good team that had, what do they have, 7 now seniors, I think it is, that made the playoffs last year. So we're right where we need to be. We just got to put that doggone thing in the hole, and I think things could really turn around for our guys in a hurry with that. Looking forward to this weekend. Probably not quite the same type of thing that you heard Coach Larsen talk about. We got 2 teams that are going to come in with big, strong, 25, maybe 30-year-old guys. Not really saying anything about that, but they are very mature, okay? And you know, our 18-year-olds that aren't even shaving yet, they're going to go get some bearded guys. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us. It's going to be physical. We're going to have to step up and really want to play more basketball, to be quite honest. We need to be physical with these guys. We've got to be able to hold our own around the basket. You know, the first night that they do have a couple guys that can shoot it, but not as many as we've seen from some other teams. But they are super, super deep in post players. And they just keep bringing them at you. And they just try to break you and wear you down. And so that's obviously a concern for us. We are a little thin there. We're going to throw some schemes at them and hopefully keep that ball out of that area and make them have to shoot some jump shots. And hopefully we can test them like we did against the Black Hills game. And second night, Westminster's kind of along the same lines. They are probably a little bit more guard oriented, even though they do attack the lane pretty well with them, but they're all about 6'5", 6'6", in that range. Strong guards that really have good skill. A couple of them actually we saw about 3 years ago, and then they left, and now they're back. So we know a little bit about them and what they can do, but they're just bigger, stronger guys now than we saw them a couple of years ago. So we've got to just, again, be ready for the physicalness that we're going to see in both those games. And if we can step up and match that, you know, I know we're going to get good shots again. We're executing things really well. You know, going to Larry's question, yeah, these weeks there are some ugly practices. You know, we talked to a bunch of our guys. Some of them were up until 4 o'clock this morning doing their projects and things like that. And we talk about it every day, though. You know, nobody cares. You know, Dixie doesn't care. They're happy. You know, Westminster's thinking the same thing. They're like, hey, yeah, we're going to go up and we get to play mines because those kids are going to be tired from all their studying and stuff. So we know that we got to get going. And as our Metro State transfer said, he did more homework his first week than he did in 2 years of Metro. So we know what we have in front of us. And as Coach said, we get past that. There's no excuse for it. They're here for a reason. And but that's also why when they leave here, they're pretty special young men and women. And they do great things when they leave here because they've had to go through this adversity. And they've learned to battle through it. And so by Friday, though, we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready. And we're going to step out there and put our best foot forward. Any questions from anybody? Yes?
I'm always a super critic of missed free throws.
Yes.
It seemed like one made free throw during that game by us and we would have won that
Absolutely.
regulation.
We put a big emphasis on free throws. You know, we want to be putting that ball around the basket offensively, and that's kind of where the offensive rebounds come in too. We want to get to the free throw line. That's a big statistic for us. We want to win the free throw battle, and so we do put an emphasis on the free throws. And so for us, we just got to continue. It's more of a confidence issue. I think sometimes you get up there. I'm always a big believer. Free throws is about rhythm and feel. You shoot enough of them, you develop that rhythm and feel because you're not moving. You're in the same spot every single time. And so it's just a matter of, again, that confidence level of knowing what that rhythm and feel is when you do it. So we'll be working on it.
Probably psychological, but the other night it just seemed like they made all their free throws and we missed a lot of them.
You know, especially early, they were 6 for 6 in the first half. They did miss some in the second half as well, and actually down the stretch when we actually had to score, they had a kid. Well, we got the flagrant one foul. He missed both those, and then which is another story. And then we had.
The crowd helped you there.
Yeah, we love your support because I get in trouble if I give that kind of support. So I do appreciate it. And then I think they had their best shooter. Actually, their best shooter was on the line, and he missed 2 for us at the end too. So. You know, obviously a big game like that, yeah, the nerves get involved a little bit and stuff, and you hope that your guys are poised and confident when they step up there.
Eric, I have
Yes.
2 questions.
Oh my goodness.
Do you accept 2 questions? Or
Yes, I do.
Okay. The last play, what happened? I mean, what did we fundamentally do wrong on that last? Were we just excited because we got the basket?
We did. We got excited, and honestly, it was just a good learning moment. Is that, you know, as Coach T has told him already many times, is that, you know, you can't celebrate a great play, and you can't pout about a bad play. Basketball is a game of transition. You know, it's not football. It's not, oh, bad play, let's go to the huddle, soak about it for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to go on to the next play. You know, in basketball, you got to get to the next play, and sometimes it happens like that. And you've got to be able to have a short memory, and you got to be able to move right into the next possession. And for us, it was. I think we just got excited. We did some very fundamental things, like you said, not correctly. We need to do a better job as a staff going through some situations with that, and that's probably an area that we have not done a very good job of, and obviously now we're going to do that. But the big thing is that if you play basketball long enough, you know, you put that ball in the hole, you sprint back and get yourself set, and they give them credit, and I think that's where their experience really came through, was in that key moment, is that their point guard, a senior point guard, had the presence of mind knowing in 4 seconds he can get that ball from end to end. You see a lot of teams, even if you watch the NCAA tournament, it drives me nuts. You'll see teams with, 5, 6 seconds, they'll horse around with the ball in the backcourt and shoot a 30-foot jumper, and you're like, you could have got to the rim and won it, So you really got to give them a lot of credit for making actually 2 really tremendous plays. The 3-pointer was a heck of a heads-up play by, again, the senior guard that stepped out and had a guy right in his face, and heck, he's leaning at a 45-degree angle when he releases it, and then to make the layup at the end too.
And the second one was, how did you like Jake Heath's play the second half?
I thought he played tremendous. Yeah, I thought he played tremendous. We've got 3 guards there. Like I said, we tried to start with all 3 of them, but that's kind of where we are with our rebounding. We're just a little too small when we have all 3 out there at one time. And so trying to get those times for all 3 of them to play. And the last couple times it's been, in Alaska, Jake wasn't playing quite as well, so Alec played a little bit more. And but the good thing about Jake was that he could play 2 different spots. He can play the wing and he can play the point for us, so that helps out. But no, I thought he gave us a spark when we just, from the perimeter guys, we just were not getting anything. And you look at the box score, it's pretty evident, where we struggled at was in our perimeter play. So we've got to do a better job there. Yeah, kid.
What's the story on the big guy? Is he still hurt?
You talking about Tristan?
The 7'4" kid?
Well, as you know, we can't really comment about that. He's just still out.
Oh.
Okay? And so that's about all I can say about him right now.
Can you say, is he redshirted then or not?
And that will probably be the case with him.
But no definitive.
No definitive, yes. Yes?
Who's been somebody that's really stepped up this year that's been kind of a surprise?
You know, probably our biggest surprise has been Damani Hayes. He is, when he came in, I mean, we knew with his body and stuff that he was going to be able to play right away as a freshman. What I didn't know about him, and I didn't particularly recruit him myself, I'd seen tape of him and met him when he came on his visit and things. What I didn't know was the energy level that kid has. He, and I don't know if it's the hair or what it is. You know, I told him he can't change his style until after he graduates, so he's got to keep the hair because I think it just adds to the whole persona, the way that he plays out there. You know, we started him because we were thin at the 4 and the 5 spot. We asked him to move to the 4 and back up Mitch Seeker, who's another fabulous freshman for us. And so with those two together, they're really playing well together. And Damani had just basically proven to me that getting to him 15 to 18 minutes a game wasn't enough. I mean, he needs to be out there for about close to 30 minutes, sometimes if not more, depending on how it's going for him. And, you know, and I think I commented last week about how he's been such a great team player that it's not his position, so to speak, but at the same time, I always tell guys, the position doesn't define you, you define the position. And he's really kind of grasped that. You know, and we're still asking him to do some backup to Mitch, but we're starting him at the 3. And he's had to learn actually a whole new spot because now he's cutting instead of screening. And so he is just really grasping that very well. I've been really impressed, obviously, with his physical play, but probably just the fact of his actual basketball savvy is really impressive for a freshman as well. Anybody else?
So what is the deal with Tristan?
Tristan is practicing and doing well, and so we're just keeping our fingers crossed. He's been doing very well for us, and his progress every day is still good. We haven't had any setbacks with him, so we're excited for what he's going to help us out with, obviously with the depth at that 5 spot.
One more minute, you get first place.
They get first place, huh? Anybody else? Great, thank you very much. Friday, Saturday, look forward to seeing you there. Thank you.
Once again, did he beat him? You stay under?
Yeah, he stayed under.
Stayed under? I like it. Thanks for coming today. Thanks again to Pizza Ranch. And you know, Coach Larsen and I had a meeting this morning, and Coach Glenn and I have been talking, and all of our head coaches. You know, I'm going to be a little more harsh or maybe blunt. It doesn't matter, get better. That's the bottom line. It doesn't matter academically. It doesn't matter about adversity. It doesn't matter, get better. That's what we're trying to embrace and moving forward. We've got to become more competitive athletically. We all know the kids that we're recruiting are going to do it academically, but we want to start doing it on the athletic side. So these guys are embracing it. Our coaching staff is embracing it. Our athletes are embracing it, and we're really close to making the next step as an athletic department. And I'm proud of our coaching staff. I'm proud of our athletes. And again, thank you for coming. Yes, sir.
I just don't feel you get enough time to talk.
Little known secret, I stand in front of the mirror every morning and talk about how am I going to get Coach Larsen to cut it down 5 minutes. Okay, Joel, this is what you got to do. You just got to get it going.
Is there anything going on in the league right now that...
Yeah, there is. There's quite a few things going on in the league. The RMAC is probably going to go back to at least 15, maybe 14 schools. Dixie State has been offered to get into the Western Athletic Conference, the WAC, Division I. Had a conversation with their football coach, or not their football coach, their athletic director about us continuing to play in the 21 season down there. Excuse me. And then the WAC also offered Metro State in downtown Denver. So I can't speculate on Metro. Division I is a whole nother level of commitment and spending and scholarshiping, and but I think it's based on my conversations and what I know, I think Dixie State's going to go for sure, which would put us at I believe 10 football schools, which would make us a 9-game schedule, which would then allow us to have 2 open games at the beginning of the year. We'd go back to a lone wolf in basketball, volleyball, and some other sports. But then if Metro went, then we'd be down to 14. My guess is that there'd be a couple presidents who would want us to get back to 16. I know there are a couple who would actually want us to get to 20. Yeah. And geographically, that's a challenge for where we're at. I mean, Dixie's 16 hours away as it is. The potential for something like that would be like in Azusa Pacific or maybe somebody up in Montana. Yeah. So it's something that we're not looking forward to, but it makes it fun, makes it challenging. Complacency is a killer in my eyes. Anybody else have any questions?
Can you make a comment about Stacy Collins?
Yeah, I talked to Stacy the other day. Some of you that follow Stacy, that's a good question, Larry. Stacy is the linebackers coach and coaches the punters at Utah State. If you follow Division I football at all, Matt Wells is the head coach, or was the head coach at Utah State. Now he's the head coach at Texas Tech. So right now, Coach Collins is kind of in limbo. And at this point in time, he's still employed at Utah State as a football coach. But that's kind of the I don't know, the craziness of Division I. It can happen like that. And if you're paying attention this morning, Urban Meyer's leaving after the football game. So it can happen in a hurry. And Stacy and I actually talked about that before he left. But he wanted to take the chance to get Division I and get that opportunity and see what life was like at that level. And you never know, you wake up and who knows what happens. So, but we had a good conversation, and I told him I'd help him in any way, shape, or form if he was going to stay there or if he was going to pursue something else. So,
Didn't Dixie State change football coach, or is their football coach
they
still
did. They fired their coach, and they just hired, I believe, a junior college coach from Snow Community College. So they'll have a new coach next year. They're planning on making the jump to Division I. So they built that 10,000 seat football arena for a reason. So. Yeah, that's a minimum number of seating that you have to have for FCS.
As long as you like my last question, I'll just ask you to comment. I noticed on the football game, I think it was Sunday night, San Diego State has a person from the RMAC playing for them, the running back, Elkier or something like that.
Austin Eckler, yeah.
Eckler.
Yep.
Played at Western.
Yeah, played at Western State Gunnison. We got lucky when they were here. He had a broken hand. He didn't play. He's a pretty special guy. Yeah. They were saying that he's the strongest guy pound for pound on the team.
But the RMAC got some recognition.
Yep. There's lots of Division II guys. I mean, Minnesota has 3 guys on their team. They're Division II. Augustana, Mankato State, and I'm sorry?
Thielen, their best wide receiver is
from Mankato. So, every once in a while you're going to see an incredible athlete come through the area, and you're going to see incredible performances. If you were at the Adams State football game and watch Connor run, stuff like that doesn't happen often. And when you see it, embrace it and remember it, because it's a whole lot of fun to be around and involved with. That's unfortunately something that you don't see in a math contest, though.
Okay, time's up.
Oh, okay. That joke at this place, right? Yeah.
You're ahead of Ryan.
Yeah, I'm ahead of Ryan? Okay. Thank you for coming. I appreciate everything you do. If I don't see you, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you and your families. Thank you.